don't live in Clayton, but
You grew up in Clayton.
yes, I grew up near Clayton, and I knew of it, but I never went.
Okay. It really is good. And he does not eat meat. He eats fish. And obviously at Oceana, I think.
Very fish-based.
Yes. So he gushed about it. It really is a good place. And, of course, we had the Crossing on yesterday, another great restaurant in Clayton. And we were just discussing this in the newsroom last night. I think it's a great topic question. Last meal in St. Louis, where would it be and what would you eat? All right. Those are some of the topics. We will take a short time out, and we'll come back with the opening monologue on the Frank and Jill Show.
Electricity is very important because if you don't have electricity, you're sitting in the dark in more ways than one. And when the lights go out for one last time, maybe, just maybe, you want a whole home generator. Well, that's where Michael Baldy comes in because Michael Baldy can do that. He's putting in a whole home generator for a friend of mine on the hill. Whether you live on the hill or a brand new home, at some point you're going to need some electrical help, and that's where Michael Baldy comes in. He's been an electrician since 1996, and he has a full team of electricians who will help you every single step of the way, whether it's a whole home generator, maybe some extra plugs for the Christmas lights, maybe it's something in the basement, something in the attic, maybe the garage. Doesn't matter. Whether it's an old Victorian home or a brand new commercial building, indoor or out, Michael Baldy, the electrician, has got to be on your phone. Put him on your speed dial, 314-968-9999, 314-968-9999. You can thank me later. Michael Baldy, BaldyElectric.com.
Got gold? Get green at Jewels on Hampton. Jewels on Hampton pays the most for your precious metals, jewelry, gems, currency, antiques, and collectibles. Jewels on Hampton buys precious and semi-precious gems and stones, scrap gold, and sterling silver. Jewels on Hampton buys and sells paper money, wristwatches, and pocket watches. They even take pianos and cars. To sum up, bring your gold chains, bracelets, rings, coins, dental gold, and more to Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton Avenue in St. Louis. And get green. Online at jewelsonhampton.com.
Everybody loves good barbecue, and everybody wants to know where the next great barbecue place is. And if you're looking for an overnight sensation, it's only taken them 10 years. Three Bay Barbecue and Bakery, Woods Mill and Clayton Road. There is a gas station, West County Phillips 66 gas station. In that gas station, in the back, for 10 years, some of the best barbecue in town. Bring a friend and spread the word. Three Bay Barbecue and Bakery. Don't forget about the bakery. 3baybarbecueandbakery.com.
Hi, this is Stuart Rosenblum, president of Stewart's American Mortgage.
Stewie!
Mortgages are the biggest investment that a person's going to make in their life, yet most people don't know anything about it. Tune in for Mortgages and More with Stewie. That's me, where we can go over all the different types of mortgage programs in simple terms. You, me,
Stewie!
You'll become an expert after the first show.
Listen to Mortgages and More with Stewie, Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on KTRS.
When it comes to mortgage lenders, I know you have no shortage of options. But are you working with someone local who can truly simplify the process? I'm David Goldberg with the Goldberg Group, and as a St. Louis home purchase expert, I know this market inside and out. I specialize in tough-to-complete situations for borrowers who are self-employed, looking to buy and sell at the same time, and may have been turned down somewhere else. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or seasoned homeowner, you can trust me with all of your home financing needs. Call or text me at 314-471-4030, 314-471-4030.
Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
Yeah, they're on the med, and these medications are used, these GLP-1s, for reducing inflammation in your body. I get so many folks that are like, wow, I don't have the knee pain. I don't have the...
Because once you start losing weight, all these other things naturally happen to you in a positive way. Not just talk about the deals for KTRS listeners at stlmedweightloss.com.
All KTRS listeners, they get $50 to $100 off their first month. And what's beautiful about it, too, hey, I get it. The economy, what we just had, guys, things are difficult right now, but we make the plan work for you. We have financing options. We make this work for you because we realize how important it is to get down in your weight, get your confidence back, and really start feeling like the old you.
Call stlmedweightloss.com and ask Dr. Joe. stlmedweightloss.com.
And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550 KTRS. Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
By the way, somebody just responded, blank the NFL. Best meal, Del Pietro's, the chicken Oscar with the crab meat on top, if it's still available. What a great place that is. What a great family. All right, here we go. Thought one. Not taking sides here. It doesn't matter if you hate Trump, and there's plenty to disagree with, and there's plenty not to like. But today in Alaska could be one of the more important days. And granted, I doubt if the war is all of a sudden going to end. A ceasefire is even a pipe dream on just one day of conversation. But if even Hillary Clinton told Jessica Tarloff on her podcast, if Trump pulls this off, he wins the Nobel Peace Prize, you know this is a big day in Alaska. It's an insane war started by an insane man. If it ends, no more United States money to Ukraine. One report had the number at $175 billion that we've given to Ukraine. Saving lives, well, I've read a bunch of different accounts. Ukraine has lost as many as 77,000 lives per one report. One also had Russia losing as many as 250,000 to 1 million since the initial invasion in 2022. Who knows what the actual stats are, but we do know that millions or hundreds of thousands of lives will be saved as soon as this war ends. The optimism is this. Putin called the meeting. The economic situation in Russia appears not to be great, and Trump can probably make it worse. This morning, Trump said it was a good sign that Putin brought plenty of business people with him to Alaska. That, he believes, has to be interpreted as a good sign. This could be an eventful day. A big indicator is this. If anything is achieved, will be the press conference. I mean, if Trump does it alone, probably very little has been accomplished. But if they come out together, progress was made. Stay tuned, a potential very big day. All right, thought two. Not a sports thought, so cool your jets, Agnes and Edwardsville. Every once in a while, if I have some cool mojo working with an interviewee and that person just seems to be like the most wonderful person in the world, I will inevitably ask the question, whether it's on camera or off camera, why are you so positive about life? Where does it come from? And 90% of the time, the person says it's their faith. Now, I've been doing this for over 3 decades, and those are my metrics. 90% of the time, they say that. So yesterday, I'm doing my first real extended one-on-one interview with David Critchley. He is the City SC interim coach. And he says, of course, my faith. And then my follow-up question, how did you become a believer? And I would say, these are my metrics, that 75% of the time, the answer is the exact same. He was asked by a friend one night while he was in college. The friend says to him, it was his girlfriend, I should say, do you know if you're going to heaven? And it hit him hard because he couldn't answer that question yes. Well, that made him think that he better get to work. And he is a devout believer now. Great guy, David Critchley, and I would love to see him go on a run to finish the season and get real consideration. The odds don't seem to be with him because they named him interim, and I think they went out of their way to say this is just for the rest of the season. But they won 2 games before he got there. He's won 3 now. He's got players kind of believing in the system. They did win a big game Saturday. I don't know if he can keep the job, but I do know he's a wonderful guy, and I am pulling for him. Okay, thought 3. The Yankees and the Cardinals. The 2 winningest franchises in baseball history in terms of world championships. The Yankees with 27 and the Cardinals with 11, going head-to-head this weekend at Busch Stadium. Not quite the luster of the 1964 World Series. You see, the Yankees are coming in clinging to the final wild card playoff spot. Nobody thought that was going to be their scenario this season. And the Cardinals are 3.5 back of the Mets, with the Reds ahead of them also for the final wild card playoff spot in the National League. And you add this, Aaron Judge is hurt. You won't get to see one of the most electrifying talents in the world. And so, too, is Paul Goldschmidt. He has a lower grade right knee sprain. I'm not 100% certain of his availability. They were debating on putting him on the injured list. He's being evaluated. Maybe we'll know something by the end of this program. It really will be a shame if he doesn't play and is placed on the injured list, because he would not get a chance to take a bow at Busch Stadium. Now, I know some of you Cardinal fans are a little tired of all the bows for ex-players, but he's beloved. Even though the Cardinals didn't win a title with him, he's pretty well liked in the St. Louis area. I mean, the man won an MVP. He was the best player in the world for a year, or the best player in the National League for a year. And here's the other thing about Goldschmidt. He had that Willie McGee humility trait. Now, I'm not saying he's as popular as Willie. Willie, despite not being in the Baseball Hall of Fame, is one of the most popular Cardinals of all time. But like Willie was almost like apologetic for his success or greatness. And that's the way Goldie was too. He was not a great interview because he refused to ever talk about himself or say anything confident about himself. I mean, imagine if you're the best player in the world and you won't talk about how you do what you do. He just would not. He, one day, by the way, I think, is going to get strong consideration for the Baseball Hall of Fame. You know, over 1,200 RBIs, needs a little work to get to 400 homers, 7 All-Star games, 4 Gold Gloves, and, of course, that MVP. It will be interesting to see if he gets in. And, you know, St. Louis fans have taken some heat lately for their lack of support. There was recently a piece on CBS Sportsline kind of hammering the Cardinal fans. And how about this? We are 19th in attendance as we wake up on this Friday morning. 19th. But I'll say something what Cardinal fans do better than anybody else. It's welcome back their stars. Imagine the ovation Paul Goldschmidt would get if he stepped to the plate tonight, you know, in the top of the first inning if he's not injured. I mean, let's face it. Fans cry and give standing ovations to Aaron Miles when he comes back, or Skip Schumacher. This is an MVP. Paul Goldschmidt did some really cool things in this town. He's a great player. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. Those are some of my thoughts. Connor, you got anything there before we
Well, I was going to say, I feel like the matchup has a lot less luster than they probably thought going in. I don't know if they're taking one of them for a national game or what, but you know, Cardinals Yankees sounds a lot greater than the reality of this series. Everyone heard on the Yankees side, Cardinals not exactly world beaters this year. Yeah, it's not a premium matchup.
And it had some 98-degree heat. In fact,
110 heat index.
Why don't we check how cheaply you can get a ticket on the markets as we speak. I think this will be very interesting to see, because at one time, Cardinals-Yankees, weekend series?
Yeah, probably would have been hard to buy. I mean, it looks like the get-in price can get for like $15, $15 to $20. So, you know, it's a weekend series, a little bit more. If you want, you know, the Pirates next week, you can get in for single, you know, $5.
Wow. All right, we will take a short time out. I'd love to get your response on the opening monologue and some of our topics for today, the last meal and your favorite sport to watch. When we come back, we're going to talk with our good friend Howard Richards.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Intense summertime heat and humidity for your weekend plans. A heat wave really starts today. In fact, a heat advisory goes into effect for the majority of our listening areas starting at noon and remains in effect through the weekend into Monday. That could even be extended to Tuesday eventually. But it really starts this afternoon. 96 for the high today under mostly sunny skies. I'll push the heat index to 102. Now, both Saturday and Sunday still looking dry, still looking mostly sunny, and still hot. 98 both days, the heat index near 104. I don't see any signs of this heat breaking until the middle of next week when a cold front rolls in and brings our next chance of storms. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Bill Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Permajack of St. Louis is synonymous with foundation repair and basement waterproofing across the St. Louis region. They know when you get water in your basement following a storm or when the snow melts, it means you have a problem. Make sure your basement doesn't leak or flood with Permajack of St. Louis. Permajack's basement waterproofing experts can perform a complete inspection of your basement to determine the problem and design a solution to keep water from entering and damaging your home. The solution could be as simple as crack repair or a sump pump, or more comprehensive like exterior waterproofing or an internal perimeter drainage system. No matter the solution, your basement will be dry with Hometown Permajack. Schedule a free inspection and estimate by visiting permajackofstlewis.com. That's permajackofstlewis.com. Permajack, foundation repair and waterproofing. Done right.
Carney, Buck.
All right, we mix things up with the Carney Show for a Friday. No Julie, but some extra Max. He sits down with Andy Summers from The Police. We'll also check in with Tom O'Keefe, find out what's at theaters, and a new documentary on Son of Sam. Its director joins me on the program. It starts at noon. We'll see you right then.
John Carney, Julie Buck. Weekdays at noon on KTRS. The talk of St. Louis.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country. When you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
Connect with a local divorce attorney today. Text LEGAL66 to 323232. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
The 37th Midwest Salute to the Arts invites you to a 3-day outdoor arts festival at Moody Park in Fairview Heights, Illinois, August 22nd through the 24th. Visitors can immerse themselves in a celebration of art, enjoy local food vendors and a kids' creation station. Also, join us for Uncommon Collaboration, an exploration of contemporary sculpture exhibit in partnership with Art Village Fairview. For more information, visit MidwestSalute.com. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate Illinois.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon on the Big 550 KTRS.
And we are getting ready for football right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the home for Mizzou football. How about this? The analyst is Howard Richards, and he joins us on Fridays. Howard, we are less than 2 weeks away. Central Arkansas coming into Columbia to donate blood. How are you, sir?
Recharged and ready for the 2025 season. And I haven't seen you in a while, so man, I've been missing my Frank and Jill fix.
Yeah, well, you know, we don't get to go to Turks and Caicos like you and send us pictures and tick us all off. How was Turks and Caicos? Everybody says it's like heaven on earth. Is it that great?
It was outstanding. The only negative was that the swimming pool at the resort wasn't deep enough. So if that's a negative, then everything else was fantastic. Food and most all-inclusives aren't that great, but I can't say that about this place. You have the use of 2 different resorts to go to. People were outstanding. The staff was great. The water is just unbelievably beautiful. There's a ton of excursions you can do. It's just very serene and peaceful. I can't wait to go back.
So that is interesting because some of the real elegant places like Turks and Caicos normally don't do the all-inclusive. That's more for the Mexico, Jamaica, the Bahamas, and stuff like that. But there is actually an all-inclusive at Turks and Caicos, huh?
Yes, at the Blue Haven Resort, and then the sister resort is called Alexandra. Now, I will say this: you're going to pay a little extra for it, but I think it's worth it. You don't get nickel and dime and paying for food and and drinks and all that. You just want to go out there and have a good time. Pay one bill at the very end, and that's what we did. And it was just, man, I don't know. I haven't been to a location outside of Hawaii, especially in the Caribbean, where I felt that comfortable and to the point where I really enjoyed it so much that I want to go back. But certainly looking forward to returning.
And this was also a fact-finding mission for you, because you guys went to have fun, but you also went to scout out where your future wedding is going to be, correct?
That's right. We went to finalize as many details as we could, and we were able to do so. The last thing that we have to do is figure out the cake flavor.
Well, that's a tough life you have. Most of us, are thinking about paying our mortgage. You're thinking about the cake flavor. What a good life for Howard Richards.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk a little Mizzou. How concerned are you, being a former All-American offensive tackle and a first-round draft choice of the Dallas Cowboys, that 2 weeks before the season's going to start, and they're making quite a few changes with the offensive line here?
I think a person that tends to panic would look at this as, maybe a little bit of time for alarm. 2 years ago, when Brandon Jones came in as the offensive line coach after he replaced Marcus Johnson, who went to Purdue, I had a little bit of that alarm, but I saw what he was able to do with lesser talent 2 years ago and assemble a formidable line. And by the way, that was the year that they had Cody Schrader, and you know how well Cody Schrader did that year. I think the talent is better this year. I think the guys are more athletic. They got a guy, Judice, who was a starter for the national championship Michigan Wolverines, and from all indications, he's a guy that has brought a level of quote-unquote professionalism to the offensive line room that they haven't had in a long time. So I'm confident, especially with watching Brandon Jones operate with his guys. I'm not concerned about it at all. I think when you hear the offensive line is being shuffled around 2 weeks before the season, or less than 2 weeks before the season, there is mild concern. But I think what you have to do, you also have to find out what other positions, certain players, especially those that are either backing up, what other positions can they play? Who do they play best next to, from a standpoint of combinations? And I think you owe it to yourself to find out those things as early as possible. If you know a guy can play right tackle and left guard, or a guy can play center and right tackle, I think you're doing your due diligence if you could find out where this guy's level of expertise is. Had he played there at another position at another school? So I think that's the biggest thing. And, some of it is posturing, I think, by Drinkwitz. You don't want to give up all your secrets, but I don't think there's any reason for overall concern. This is a team that's coming off back-to-back 10-win seasons with an opportunity to set history and win, 10 or more games in 3 consecutive years at the University of Missouri. So I like what Drinks is doing. I like the way he conducts his camp. I love the culture. I love the guys that they've brought in from the portal. Now it's a matter of can guys stay healthy? Can they play consistently? I know people think the schedule is very friendly because you have 6 straight home games. My only concern about that is that you get a little too complacent. Not being on the road, you're not thinking about what you have to do with regard to travel. And those things matter. Trust me, they do. But I like the fact that we have the toughest teams on the schedule playing at home. Mizzou's undefeated the last 2 years in Columbia. So I like how things are setting up this season.
One thing on that offensive line that I liked is they moved Caden Green to left tackle. And he obviously is your best offensive lineman, and left tackle is the spot that's the most important thing on your squad. So I think that's a solid move, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think he played there a little bit, maybe his very first game when he was at OU. Don't know how well he played, but obviously he did well enough where they think that he can be productive at left tackle. Does it mean he's going to line up on August 28th at left tackle as a starter? Don't know. We'll have to see. But I think he's extremely capable. When you're athletic, as he is, you've been at a school that's been productive at OU. Now you come to Mizzou. You're playing for a really experienced, technically sound, method-driven coach like Brandon Jones as an offensive lineman who pays attention to details and holds his players accountable to doing the same, as does Drink. I just think that the biggest thing this team has to do is develop its confidence and believe that they can beat anybody that they line up against.
All right, let's talk about the most interesting question, I think, in the state right now is who's going to be the quarterback. So for our listening audience, and I'm sure everybody's pretty familiar with it, but Sam Horn at one time was a 4-star recruit. As Drink has reminded me, he was the MVP of his high school team on a team that had Travis Hunter. He obviously has a rocket arm, can throw a fastball 97, 98 miles an hour, and is finally healthy. He lost a quarterback battle a few years back to Brady Cook. Now he's involved in another one with Bo Perbula, who they could be paying $7 million to be the quarterback. How do you see this thing as we wake up on this Friday morning?
I wish I could tell you that I knew the answer to this. I really don't. But I believe that after this week, you start to see someone probably separate himself from the other one. Again, I would say that probably Perbula may have a slight edge as of today, August 15th. But that doesn't mean that can change over the course of the next week to 10 days or so. I think it literally is that close. And I also think, and you've heard the saying that if you've got a battle between two quarterbacks, you really don't have a starter. That's not always true in this situation. I do believe that early in the season, both guys will get a chance to play. I'm not saying they're going to play equal snaps. I think you may see more situational football that drives how much each one plays. Doesn't mean that necessarily one quarterback's that much better. But if Mizzou is rolling and they can run the ball effectively coming out of the box, you may see Perbula because he's known more as a runner. But if they get situations where they're getting backed up and they have to throw the ball on seconds and thirds and longs, that may be where we see Sam Horn come in and play more than what others might expect that he would play. So it wouldn't surprise me if it's not settled in the first couple of games, although I think I would like to see it settled before Mizzou plays KU. But we'll see. I unfortunately don't have the crystal ball to tell you, but I think we'll have a lot better sense the week of Central Arkansas and certainly the week against Kansas as to who is probably going to get the majority of snaps this season.
Everybody points to that South Carolina game as the most important game, but I got to tell you, Howard, if they were to lose to Kansas at home in Game 2 and the Kansas program has gotten better, that would be like the most deflating thing. I don't know if they'd recover from that. I mean, I know it's a long season. You got a lot of great teams, but that's a game you just can't lose.
You're so right. And this game between those two institutions, I think it runs deeper. The meaning runs far deeper than the casual listener realizes. Only if you are a Mizzou football faithful do you understand how important and how serious this matchup is on September 6th. As a guy who played 4 times against Kansas, only lost once. My freshman year, we got beat by Kansas, and Mizzou hired a new coach after Al Anafrio was fired, and the first thing Warren Powers said is that no matter what happens, we will never, effing lose to Kansas while I'm here. Now, I think he lost to Kansas in the last year that he was head coach, but my 3 years, we beat KU like a drum, and it meant something. I mean, we had that date circled on the calendar. My guess is that these guys will have it circled on the calendar too. Now, we know Kansas will be feeling the same way, but I'm just glad this first opportunity after, maybe 10 years that it's going to be played in Columbia.
All right, sir. Our questions for the day, we'll just give you one of them, is the world is ending. You get one last meal in St. Louis. Where and why and what are you eating? You can't hedge. What would you choose?
I'm going to 801 Fish.
And you would eat?
And I would probably have king crab legs. I'd probably have some sort of red snapper or Chilean sea bass. I'd probably have some scallops, and I'd start it off with a 10-piece shrimp cocktail.
You're eating light that night, huh? That's good.
Listen. I'm trying to extend my life, so I'm moving away from red meats and indulging myself in more fish and shellfish.
Well, by the way, talk to Dr. Rick about red meat when you're 50 and over. He has some interesting thoughts. He's pretty pro red meat. But anyway,
I am too. I'm not eating it 3 days a week though, or 4 days a week. I still do eat it and still enjoy it as well.
Good stuff, sir. We'll see you in studio next week. Thanks so much for your time.
You got it, Frank. Thank you. See you,
All right. That is the All-American Howard Richards joining us on the Frank and Jill Show. When we come back, it's one of the biggest sporting events in St. Louis every year. It's the Enjoy Illinois 300. The track owner, Curtis Francois, will be with us.
Diana from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers here to remind you, we don't just offer the best pieces, we offer one of the last master hand engravers in our country. My father can create timeless, personal, and unforgettable pieces. Come by our showroom at the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or learn more online at wowdiamonds.com.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years, and their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company to make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Or johnbealroofing.com.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
This is Mariah, third generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Wow, that's good. Who is that, Connor?
That's Slim Harpo. You can't make it.
Nice. All right. It's one of the biggest events in St. Louis. It is the Enjoy Illinois 300. It's the first ever NASCAR Cup Series playoff race in our town. Joining us is the owner, Curtis Francois. Curtis, good to be with you. How are you?
I'm great, Frank. Good to be with you, and excited for the big race coming to town. It's just a few weeks here, and the cars will be on the track.
I know I've asked you this before, but I think for our audience who are not hardcore racing fans, I think they need to know about economic impact, what this race does for our region. Give us a little insight.
Yeah, so it's, there is the clearly the people coming to town and the room nights and hotel nights and stops in the restaurants and shops and whatnot. And so it's over $60 million just for this event. The event has been sold out for the last 3 years, and with any luck, it'll be that again this year. And so it's become, I think, a fixture on the schedule of the businesses around the region as all of the people come into town to enjoy some of the best racing anywhere in the country on September the 6th and 7th.
And when you say 60 million, that's a staggering figure. So what does that all entail? Give us a little insight here.
Well, I think you have to look at, just the amount of room nights. With NASCAR, you're bringing in NASCAR Cup racing, you're bringing in a lot of people from out of town. And so from the standpoint of new faces and fans in town, our camping is just about sold out right now. And so, that's over 1,000 families that are coming in and spending 3 or 4 days in town. And so that is a great multiplier of a single day visit when you have multiple days of families in town enjoying the racing. And they're downtown, they're in the Metro East, all over doing the things you do when you're not watching the racing.
Okay, so you buy a ticket for the race and you get the Confluence Music Festival for free. And one of the performers will be Bill Murray on that Sunday morning. He'll be performing on the same stage that Adam Wainwright did last year. And there's a really good backstory on how you guys hooked up with Bill Murray and then made him a part of the actual race too. And it had something to do with the guy from the Fox. Tell me the story.
Well, it's just a great story with Bill and, an entertainer, comedian, and for folks from my generation and frankly yours, Frank. So
Yeah.
we're there. We appreciate Bill and all the fun times that he's brought to his fans and to the big screen and Saturday Night Live back in the day. And so, it's just been a great opportunity to see how Bill has a connection here, and it's wonderful to see a guy that also has the connection to Illinois, and all of these things come together. And next thing you know, we have Bill Murray, we have his band. He's got Bill Murray and his Blood Brothers playing, but also just as the Grand Marshal and representing a Illinois resident. It'll be fun to see, and I actually get to drive the Grand Marshal around on some pace laps, so that'll be fun. And so I'm just looking forward to my time spent with Bill Murray and connecting him to the St. Louis area.
And so how did that work? You're looking at potential bands with somebody that's really in the know in the music world, and then you come across his name. Hey, let's throw in the Grand Marshal thing. Take me behind the scenes.
Well, basically, most of the acts that we're looking at, they run past me, and I have such great memories with Bill Murray. And when someone said that he was potentially available from a band standpoint, and then it quickly led to, well, what about the Grand Marshal standpoint. And how about if I get a chance to drive Bill Murray around in the pace car? So it wasn't a tough sell for me. And when it lined up from a schedule standpoint, that's how the sausage is made, so to speak. Not that much more complicated. I'd love to see him there. I recognize that so many people that grew up in the era that he was just on fire as far as a performer and all that he was doing in his movies. That was an easy one for me when he became available, and just looking forward to that. And he'll be interacting with the fans. He'll be on the stages. And just hopefully having a great time when he comes to the St. Louis region.
So to steal a line from Bill, so you have that going for you, Curtis, which is nice. All right. Next up, you have just announced a revitalization of the grandstands. Tell our listening audience about that.
Yeah, so that's been a year-long project to reimagine how we could take a beautiful grandstand that we have in Turn 1 and Turn 2. It's called the Wallace Grandstand after the Wallace family. And so we recognized that there was a need for opportunities for smaller to mid-sized companies to bring people out for entertaining purposes and for hospitality. So we wound up building new outdoor suites by reconfiguring grandstands, and then we also have added 18 new loge boxes, which are really just the best seat in the house. It's right there, first row in the second tier, and those have been reconfigured to where you can put 8 to 16 people in those. You have your own little bar service there, and an area with your own chairs and whatnot. Great place to entertain and enjoy the race, and just see a view that is unparalleled. It's super. So that's something that's coming to the table late. We just announced all of that last week, and wanted to make sure that folks are aware that is there and available, and it should be a fun first experience.
And the easiest way to get tickets for this big event?
Always going to go to our website, which is www.raceway.com. There are a few left, but for sure it's time to get your tickets, because in the next 2 weeks, the pace of sales pick up tremendously, and hopefully we're going to be hosting our fourth playoff, or our fourth sellout in this playoff race. So with the playoff race, there's a lot more going on, and a lot of storylines to tell, and I think St. Louis is going to shine once again.
And give me, in 20 seconds, a driver we should all keep an eye on. Who you liking?
Well, you're going to have to look at Joey Logano because of his success here, and he's going to need a playoff win. And I think guys coming in here that are really needing a playoff win are going to be shining. So you're going to see a Kyle Larson. You could see guys that have won here before. Austin Cindric has won here before. Guys that recognize what an important thing it is to win early in the playoffs, and we're a track that anybody can win on. It's absolutely so much about talent, and there's a lot of it coming to the racetrack this year.
Curtis, see you soon. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Frank. Take care.
All right, that's the owner of Worldwide Technology Raceway, Curtis Francois. That track was dead 14 years ago, and now it's rocking. Good variety here in the first hour. We've talked about the Trump-Putin situation. We've asked you about last meal and where in St. Louis. Where would it be? We're getting some good suggestions from some people. And then we've also had a chance to talk about back-to-school situations. Was it hell for you going to Target? And did it look like, boy, there's nothing left? And, boy, isn't it terrible that school starts so early? I hate that. All right, we'll take a short time out. We're going to switch topics. When we come back, we're talking movies with our friend Lynn Venhouse.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
News, weather, traffic, sports, and live local talk. This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis, Ladue, Glen Carbon, University City, Edwardsville, Manchester, Wood River, Grafton, Collinsville, Pacific, and the world.
Streaming live at KTRS.com.
Depend on it.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin heading to Alaska today for this afternoon's bilateral meeting. President Trump pushing for Russia to end its war in Ukraine and calling today's sit-down the next step on the path to peace. On board Air Force One, the president says he and Putin can get along to get a deal done, but says any talk of business opportunities, including mineral rights, are not the priority.
I noticed he's bringing a lot of business people from Russia. And that's good. I like that because they want to do business, but they're not doing business until we get the war settled.
A new Pew Research poll shows that 59% of Americans surveyed say they don't think the president can foster an end to the conflict. New concerns about the federalization of police in Washington, D.C. after Attorney General Pam Bondi issued an order to remove the authority of the city's police chief and revoke department policies blocking cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. ABC's Stephen Portnoy says D.C.'s elected leaders now pushing back.
D.C.'s Attorney General accuses the U.S. Attorney General of trying to unlawfully sideline the city's police chief. Pam Bondi's Thursday night order says the department's chain of command can't make any decisions without the approval of DEA Administrator Terry Cole, who's been tapped as the department's emergency federal commissioner. But D.C.'s lawsuit says there's nothing in the law that allows for that. The Home Rule Act says for up to 30 days, the president may direct the mayor to provide police services for federal purposes.
Erin is now the first named hurricane of the Atlantic season. The Category 1 storm expected to gain strength as it churns off the U.S. eastern seaboard, and the areas of the Caribbean are in the crosshairs. Here's ABC's Ginger Z.
This is a function of where this thing is going to go. So it's now just over 500 miles east of the Leeward Islands. It's moving west-northwest, and that northwest flow is important because it keeps it north of the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico.
You're listening to ABC News.
What are you doing every day to support your liver? If you enjoy sweets, fast food, alcohol, or take any medications, that's a vital question to ask. Hi, I'm Sherry Torkas, pharmacist and health author. For over 30 years, I've helped people make informed decisions about their health, especially concerning prevention and long-term wellness. Supporting your liver isn't just a wellness trend, it's a daily essential. That's why I recommend Active Liver by New Nordic. It's made with plant-based ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and globe artichoke, herbs clinically studied for their protective and restorative effects on the liver. Active Liver blends traditional herbal wisdom with modern scientific research. Not all supplements are created equal. I trust Active Liver because it's backed by science, meets strict quality standards, and delivers true daily liver support.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. Extreme heat is back in the St. Louis area. The National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory from noon today until 8 Monday night. The full forecast is coming up. A public meeting on groundwater contamination in St. Charles drew over 100 residents to hear about cleanup efforts. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
It was a packed house last night at a meeting where St. Charles residents came to hear federal officials speak about the decades-old efforts to clean up groundwater contamination. The EPA has been working to clean up the Superfund site south of 370, which is close to a well where the city of St. Charles gets most of its drinking water. However, a report by the EPA released earlier this week shows the main cleanup tool isn't functioning properly. An EPA engineer told residents last night that further testing is being conducted and revised treatment options are expected to be proposed by the end of the year. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
St. Louis City is ending its alley recycling program. City officials say contamination and rising costs have made the program unsustainable. An Illinois judge has rejected Texas's plan to enforce civil arrest warrants for Texas House Democrats who fled to Illinois. The complaint was filed by Republican Illinois State Senator Jill Tracy on behalf of GOP Texas lawmakers earlier this month. The judge ruled that his court didn't have the jurisdiction to do what Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and House Speaker Dustin Burrows had requested. Texas Democrats fled the state to obstruct a vote on a redistricting map that would add 5 congressional seats to the Republicans. Initial unemployment claims are up slightly in Missouri. The Missouri Department of Labor reports there were 2,500 initial claims for the week ending on August 9th. This marks an increase of only 37 claims from the previous week. 2 mobile gaming licenses will be awarded by the Missouri Gaming Commission. Commissioners heard from FanDuel, DraftKings, and Circus Sports earlier this week as the state takes steps in implementing sports betting by December 1st. The 2 license recipients will be announced later today. Make-A-Wish Missouri and Kansas will host a special wish reveal this afternoon for an 11-year-old girl at the St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station. Emma, who is battling leukemia, will learn that her wish to swim with dolphins in Hawaii is coming true. And several popular family-friendly festivals are happening this weekend. KTRS's Steve Potter has the details.
The city of Baldwin is holding its 47th annual Baldwin Days. It kicked off on Thursday and runs through Sunday with live entertainment featuring local bands and performances, carnival rides and games, and fireworks Friday and Saturday nights. This weekend's Festival of the Little Hills on Main Street and Frontier Park in St. Charles has been a favorite since 1971 and celebrates the region's arts and artisans with a variety of entertainment and hundreds of vendors. Also running through Sunday is what's billed as the Metro's biggest foodie fest. At the Taste of St. Louis in downtown Clayton, you'll find food and drink from more than 40 restaurants. Also, there's a marketplace featuring artisans and crafters. Organizers say you'll also have a chance to hear from brand exhibitors, influencers, and well-known personalities. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
This KTRS Business
Exhibitors,
This KTRS Business Minute is brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Right now on Wall Street, Dow Jones is up 92 points to 45,000. S&P 500 is down 18 to 6,450. The Nasdaq is down 101 to 21,609. KTRS Sports, St. Louis City SC travels to Chicago tomorrow night as they take on the Fire. City is 1-1 in its MLS history against the Fire. And St. Louis University women's soccer won their opener last night at Kansas City 4-0. KTRS weather, a heat advisory is in effect from noon today until 8 Monday night. Today sunny and humid with a high of 95. Tonight clear, overnight low of 77. Tomorrow sunny, high of 97. Currently hot and muggy. It is 90 degrees with a real feel of 101. The time is 11:07. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Miller Furniture. St. Louis's home for American-made furniture presents Lynn Venhouse Goes to the Movies.
Let's go to the movies.
On the Big 550, KTRS.
All right, Lynn Venhouse in the house. We're going to talk about a movie that I'm really excited to see, but I want to get a little food conversation going first. So I talked to my brother Mark, who ran Chemo's for 50 years last night, and I was telling him how yesterday we had Jimmy Fiala in from The Crossing, and he talked about the one thing that amazed me was they make their own bread and they make their own pasta. Now, making your own bread, I mean, everybody buys some Fazio's. There's a couple of great places. And bread, it takes a while to make, but they do that. But making their own pasta, I mean, we did it at Chemo's a long time ago on Grand Avenue, but when Mrs. Chemo died, you know, it was too labor intensive to rationalize. You had to buy it. And cost-wise, it was just the right thing to do. But to still make your own pasta is amazing. So I don't know if anybody else in St. Louis does that. I'd love to hear it on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line. But now, the question for the day, the first one to you, Lynn, is last meal in St. Louis, where would it be and what would it be?
That is a very hard place because you mentioned Keeble's. I'm old school, so I've been to all these places that are no longer in business that were favorites, like Chemo's, and then Tony's was for like.
Oh, Tony's would be a great suggestion.
Really big deal. lobster almanello. Habanello.
Yes.
I will never forget that. That's probably like the thing. And then even Robert E. Lee. I had my 21st birthday on the Robert E. Lee.
Did they have good food too?
Yes, they did. They had this old like what is that, Victoria? Like the Shaw House kind of stuff. But I think these new chefs like Gerard Crabb and Ben Paramba and people like that, I think I would probably try one of their restaurants because I haven't done that. In terms, I've tried their casual ones. Oh, I think Gerard makes his own pasta at that Pasteria.
At Pastoria.
Yeah, Pastoria.
Yeah, you're probably right. In fact, Jimmy may have mentioned it. Did he mention
He
that?
did mention that.
Yeah,
He said
Pastoria.
that was one
So
of the
there we go.
Okay,
But
that's
he's when he had that. What was the place in Clayton? With the bread. It was the great bread. The sardine. Speaking of bread.
Yeah.
But really, just anybody that does really good food is so good. There's a place in O'Fallon, Illinois called Leono that is fusion. It's Polynesian, but it's also French. And that guy is amazing. And I'm going to say 2 words: tempura carrots.
Ooh,
I'm just going to say it's really good.
Wow.
But anyway, there's so many great places to choose from now, isn't it?
Yes. All right, let's get to some movies. And the one that's just jumping out, I'd like to see it right now. I'd leave here right now and go to it. Highest to Lowest, Denzel Washington in a suspenseful thriller. How can it get any better than that? Have you seen it yet?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw it Wednesday night, and I loved it. It's a little long. It takes a while to get started. But once you establish it, then we're on a wild ride. Denzel and Spike Lee, this is their 5th collaboration together since the 90s. And they are just so in sync. And Spike Lee has this kinetic energy, and he's using New York. He hasn't been back in New York for a while. And New York looks beautiful. And then his beloved Brooklyn and the Bronx. He goes through. There is a chase scene in this movie. Well, first of all, Denzel plays a music mogul for instance, in the script, Quincy Jones called him the future, like 20 years ago. And so he's not as high and mighty as he used to be because of all the changes in the music business. And they talk about that. Spike has a lot to say about the current music business and about the reliance on social media for today's practices. And so that's really interesting. I wouldn't say this movie's political, but I do think he says some things to the youth of America. That's what his goal.
Like what?
Just like work hard for the money. Don't think of the money first. Think of you building your craft and establishing yourself.
How is that political? That seems great.
It is great. I'm just saying, a lot of times people think...
You wouldn't say it's political.
I wouldn't say it's political because a lot of times people think Spike Lee's too political, but he doesn't go there because this is based on a Kurosawa movie called High and Low. And it's
from
currently...
the 60s, right?
Yeah, from the 60s. It's currently on HBO Max, but this is also from a book. Ed McBain did these police procedural books, and it is about this businessman who is brought to his knees because of a family kidnapping plot. And that's what they go with here. It's a family kidnapping. Denzel has a beautiful wife and a really terrific son, and he's playing basketball. He's in a basketball summer camp coached by Rick Fox. So Rick Fox is in it. Anyway, there's a kidnapping plot for him. And Jeffrey Wright is his right-hand man. And I'm not going to spoil the plot, but but Jeffrey Wright's real-life son, Elijah, plays a character in the movie. And then A$AP Rocky, he's a big deal rapper. He is baby daddy to Rihanna. Anyway, he plays a very swaggering hip-hop artist who wants to make it without he wants what Denzel has without earning it. Let's put it like that.
Okay, so the movie is called Highest to Lowest. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 91. Lynn, strong endorsement. And where can we see this? Is it showing at theaters opening today or what?
Yeah, it's opening today in theaters, but on Apple TV Plus, September 5th, it'll start streaming because Apple financed it, and so did A24. And it's got one of the best chase scenes in movies. They're comparing it to French Connection and Bullet, if you recall those great chase scenes. It is on these 2 subway trains, and then game day crowd at Yankee Stadium, And that's hilarious because they're all screaming about Boston Red Sox sucks and stuff. And then this Puerto Rico festival, and they're chasing the ransom through this crowd and the police. And one of the policemen is the guy from the Allstate commercials, Dean Winters. And that's kind of funny. But it is one of these most intense chase scenes. So it's right up there with what's some good ones lately, like Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And what was that?
Connor, what would be the difference in price if you go to a theater to watch this or if you wait to Apple TV Plus?
Well, you can go to theater for probably like $15.
Okay.
And then if you want to wait and buy Apple TV, you got to,
What do you think it would cost on Apple TV Plus?
Well, your subscription.
Well, you got to buy the subption. So, what,
if you
$12?
Have it, it'll be for free?
Yeah. It'll if you have Apple TV Plus, it'll be for free. Now, Warenberg and some other theaters, not Warenberg, Marcus.
Yeah.
I'm old.
Warenberg's not around
I
anymore.
know. They have that $6 Tuesday.
Yeah,
so
and a lot of places I like to go to the matinee because you can get it for cheaper.
Yeah,
if you can
and
swing
then for us seniors, it's $11.50 before 4.
Oh. Is this like a? Would you say like Denzel did the Equalizer movies, kind of a little like shoot 'em up actiony? Is that what this goes, or is it more?
No, it's
thriller?
more a moral dilemma. Because this business guy, he's at a crossroads in his life. And what I like about this is you don't know where it's going because you think, oh, my God, he's going to do what you consider not the moral high road. He's going to go the other way. But then you got to find out which way he goes. So there's these, just kind of like how Breaking Bad, he had all those crossroads and he goes down the bad path.
Yeah.
Denzel is confronted with all this stuff and he has to make decisions on the fly about what's best for him and his family. And so that's just really good. And Jeffrey Wright, what movie isn't better because of Jeffrey Wright?
So there's some thrills, there's some chases, but it's not like a shoot 'em up action.
Yeah, it's not like
thriller.
a Equalizer. It's more, I'm just saying, Denzel's at the top of his game here, and he's 70 years old.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's
I'm trying to, I think, I mean, he still does some running and stuff in this film, but it's very tense, I would say. But
Great.
It makes New York just look beautiful, and they're very wealthy. And by the way, Spike Lee's personal art collection, celebrating Black excellence, is the artwork in Denzel's penthouse in this movie. So, and they spend a lot of time showing you the art. And he's got like some scoreboard from Brooklyn Dodger Stadium, and he's got like Muhammad Ali and stuff.
Yeah.
But you can tell it's very Spike Lee. But it's just, I really enjoyed this experience, and everybody's going to have a different take. But it was just being an adult and seeing how you wrestle with those moral dilemmas, I think is a really interesting thing.
So would you say it's kind of like a different Spike with the Inside Man, where it's like a little more crowd pleasing, but it's not traditional, action shooter.
Right,
shoot 'em
and
up.
it's not like Black Klansman or Da 5 Bloods, or even it's not like Do the Right Thing. But I think it's really interesting, and it just depends on what you're in the mood for.
Yeah.
But I think it's not I was not disappointed. I was so happy. I guess I was really happy after, because when you see a really good movie that just takes you on a ride and it doesn't disappoint you, like so many movies nowadays, they fall apart in the third act. Like Weapons, I just saw that. Oh my God, does that just...
So where does he rank, by the way? Like if we were to go Mount Rushmore with Denzel, guys still doing work on a semi-regular basis.
Do you know the
Denzel, Leonardo, Brad Pitt, Tom Hanks? Is he done anything?
Oh yeah, you got to have Tom Hanks in
Does
there.
Tom Hanks still work on a regular basis?
I don't know.
He kind of comes and
been a
goes.
while.
There's a movie on HBO Max. It's very your generation kind of called Freaky Tales. It's very video game, but there's a cameo by Tom Hanks in this movie as a video store owner. He has a scene with Pedro Pascal, who's in everything right now, and Tom Hanks' scene is one of my favorite scenes of the year. It's old school, like blockbuster.
Yeah.
All right.
Video store. But anyway, New York Times declared Denzel the greatest actor of the 21st century.
Over Tom Hanks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else would you recommend? Snoopy presents a summer musical, Apple TV Plus. Is that worth watching?
Yes, and especially if you have grandkids or young children, it's just delightful. But it's sweet and sentimental. It's very nostalgic, and it's also just charming because it's the Peanuts gang, and when they sing, you know how they get their mouths open. You know, it's that familiar animation. I think Charles Schultz's sons are involved in this production, but it's Charlie Brown goes to his favorite summer camp, Clover Hill Ranch, and he takes Sally, and he's all excited to show her the camp experience, but she would rather sit in front of the TV instead of sitting under the stars, and he just is like appalled at that. So he tries to change her mind, but then the kids, because, you know, there's never adults in these, never. They find out that the camp is going to close, so they rally the troops, and it's just so delightful. Charlie Brown isn't the blockhead that you usually see in the old Charlie Brown. This is like a new version with Apple. But
What is he, sharp?
Yeah, well, he's just
sexy, sinewy. What is he?
Well, everybody loves him.
He knows that the football's going to get pulled back.
Yeah, he's just everybody just thinks he's a
Just a
you're
nice
a good
guy.
man.
People
You're a
like-
good
people
man,
like him.
Charlie Brown. That
Yeah.
kind of theme. But the songs are by Ben Folds, and there's this one, "We Will Light." We are the light, or something, and it's about these little the little kids are in their sleeping bags on a mountain, not a mountain, but in the clearing, and the sky filled stars. And it's just beautiful, and it just reminds you of your childhood and the nostalgia of being innocent in the world. So I highly recommend it. It's only 40 minutes, so if you have Apple TV Plus, you can
So if
watch.
there's like a child in your life too.
Yes,
that's
and
ideal.
especially and I hope they would sit and enjoy this, for a time. But it's all about getting kids outdoors and
Yeah, that's
appreciating
good.
outdoors. I wanted to mention that Superman Video on Demand is available today. So if you haven't seen
What
Superman,
would that cost?
well, I think that's the premium one where you're
Where
going
you
to be
gotta pay
paying
like 10
$19.99.
even more.
And by the way, is it worth watching?
I think it's.
I've gotten
I
heard
think
mixed
it's the.
reviews.
I think it's the movie of the summer. But that's me though, because I'm a huge fan of this Superman, and to me, he's the best one since Christopher Reeve.
Haven't been a lot of good ones,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
No, in fact, I went back and watched a couple of them because HBO Max
Yeah.
is running Superman Returns and Man of Steel. And I was watching those again, and I was like, and I did watch Superman 2 again, but I was kind of going back. And first of all, nobody's going to top Christopher Reeve. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I really like this for what it says and what James Gunn did with it because he's, St. Louis. But it's going to be on DVD September 23rd, so they'll have a lot of bells and whistles. But I do think it's one of the big screen experiences, just like F1. You have to see it on.
And I like that on the big screen. I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would.
Well, yeah, because can you imagine if you were like watching it on your phone?
Yeah, that wouldn't be the way to watch it. You didn't like Weapons, which I wanted to make sure to mention. Max Foisey here loves it. It's this horror, kind of new age horror movie that everyone is talking about. You're one of the few that don't like it.
I know. I really like that cast, and I really like the premise. 17 kids disappear at 2:17 a.m. But as the third act tells, you find out how it happened, but you don't find out why it happened. And that drives me crazy. I overthink horror movies, so that's on me. And I know Max and I have had discussions on this. I was just incredibly let down by the resolution. Let's put it like that. And the resolution's pretty fast. And I had so many questions, and I still have questions, and they're never going to be answered. But it left the door open for a sequel, and I'm like, oh, so that's when we're going to get the answers?
But is it scary? Are the scares good? No, you still don't.
No,
think?
I
Okay.
was. There's a couple jumpy moments, and there's some. Julia Garner, she's so good. She plays this teacher that had the unfortunate experience of the 17 kids disappeared from her classroom, so they're all blaming her. They think she's a witch. And then James Brolin tussles with her, but they figure out they're trying to find a solution to this. And the one little boy that wasn't taken from the class. There's a story behind him, and I did like that story. But then Amy Madigan shows up as this very eccentric, weird, strange aunt, and she's a chaos agent, and they don't explain that very well. So I'm going to have to talk to Max because he probably saw more than I did. But I know that's Max's favorite genre, and I will give it credit. Max recommended this movie to me earlier this year called Companion, and it's on HBO, and it's a zippy hour and 30 minutes, and it stars Jack Quaid.
That's the one with the robot that gains consciousness. Yeah.
And you like it?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay.
That's wonderful because there's all these twists and turns, and you go with it. When the big reveal happens in Weapons, I was like, okay. I mean, I just wanted more from that movie. But I did see a lot of great previews because I had to go to the theater because they didn't screen it for us. And I will say the Spinal Tap, a sequel's coming out September 12th, and I cannot wait for that.
Landman, by the way, coming out in November.
Oh,
Season
yeah.
2. Excited about that.
And also, they revealed that Ted Lasso is going to come back probably mid-2026.
All right. You were brought to us by?
Miller Furniture. You only have till August 19th. For their 98th anniversary sale. So quality product, American made, great service. They have $8 million of in-stock furniture available, no sales tax through August 19th. They have the biggest mattress sale. You can get free adjustable base. And so check out, if you got a vision for your home, check out what Miller can do for you at Baldwin, Lake St. Louis. Oh, it's Ellisville. I always say Baldwin. Ellisville, Lake St. Louis, Fairview Heights, and Belleville, and you will not be disappointed.
Great stuff, Lynn, as usual. We'll take a short time out. Song of the day and our quote of the day, some classic George Carlin humor. We'll be right back.
Oh, my God.
Country Club Car Wash is the best car wash in town. How do I know? I have an unlimited monthly pass to Country Club Car Wash, and it's fantastic. They're touchless, and you get free vacuums at select locations. Each and every day on the morning show, we will be giving away one free Country Club Car Wash to the text of the day. And each week, we'll be giving away a grand prize, 1 month of free Country Club Car Washes to the text of the week. We'll see you on the show, and we'll see you at Country Club Car Wash, cccwstl.com.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Most people think if I name my husband as beneficiary, everything's going to be okay, and that's not necessarily true.
I'm Scott Garcia with Premier Estate and Income Planning.
What am I doing taking care of people after somebody has passed and all the mess that comes with that?
And I'm Jennifer Cermak, Chief Counsel and Estate Planning Attorney of Premier Estate and Income Planning.
No longer is the attorney the gatekeeper to your lives.
Let us show you how to protect your assets, avoid probate, and retire with confidence.
Having an estate plan could be the most important document you could ever have.
The Premier Income and Estate Planning Show, this Saturday at 4 and this Sunday morning at 7 on the Big 550 KTRS.
Earn your high school diploma at St. Louis County Library. The Excel Adult High School program gives adults a second chance to pursue their dreams by earning a nationally accredited high school diploma. This free online program helps expand your career opportunities, prepare you for the workforce, or continue your education. The library provides a limited number of scholarships to qualified adult learners, and you can learn more at slcl.org/excel.
You're finally ready to renovate your home. Now's the time to start your project to have it completed in time for the holidays. River Bend Kitchen and More specializes in kitchens and baths, but also bars, bookcases, cabinetry, countertops, and more. They work with homeowners, contractors, and developers. Proud supplier of Waypoint Living Spaces cabinets, as well as other quality cabinetry lines. Financing is available. Conveniently located in Soulard, Alton, and Rascuda. Call 314-314-7411. Online at riverbendkm.com.
You know, over the years, Lordo's has become part of the family for many, many St. Louis families. For 80 years, they've been helping St. Louis families with all of the jewelry needs, whether it's the diamond ring, a diamond ring, maybe something for St. Patrick's Day, something for an anniversary, Valentine's Day. Throughout the years and throughout the calendar, it's Lordo's as your go-to. Whether it's men or women, you want to repurpose something or buy something new, Lordo's Diamonds in the heart of Ladue on Clayton Road. You see, it's a family business. The family's been running it for years, and they learned it from their father, who learned it from their father. And so that family jeweler, it's where generations of St. Louisans go. Grandparents have gone there. Your grandkids will go there. Right there in Ladue on Clayton Road, across the street from a Norman Rockwell-esque firehouse, is Lordo's Diamonds. Go in, make a friend, and make them your family jeweler, because you can thank me later. 314-432-8008 or online, lordosdiamonds.com.
It's the Big Sports Show with Sports Director Brendan Lisi. Weeknights 7 to 9 on the Talk of St. Louis, the Big 550, KTRS.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSL, more is what moves us. Find your more and build more connections at more.umsl.edu.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550, KTRS.
All right, welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show. Jill is off today, so it's Frank and Connor. And our song of the day, because we had this kind of historic baseball weekend in a sense, because the Yankees have won the most world championships with 27. The Cardinals are second with 11 world championships. They'll get together tonight in the start of a 3-game series at Busch. Two iconic franchises going head-to-head. We thought a baseball song like this would be appropriate. Wow. That is great stuff. I think it was released in 82.
Did he just make a version for every team?
I don't think every team, but
just a few of the teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I told this story once when I was a college student. I was finished up with basketball, and it was the summer months, and I had not gotten a job. I had just graduated from UMSL, and Bob Costas said, come up to New York for a weekend. And one of the nights, he says, hey, we're going out to dinner. And we get to the place, and it's a table for four. One is Pete Axthelm, the famous sports editor of Newsweek. He worked for NBC. And the other was Terry Cashman. So the four of us had dinner. I mean, meeting Terry Cashman, well, it was a thrill. This guy is such a talent. And what an unbelievable song. It almost, I'm too much of a baseball romantic, but it almost makes you emotional just hearing those names and that beat. Just beautiful. I love it. All right, speaking of baseball. George Carlin once did a comedy bit where he went over the main differences between football and baseball. Folks, this is classic. We'll play it for a while. Oh, my goodness. George Carlin. We lost him in 2008. Died at age 71. Had heart issues. But, gosh, just to be able to deliver sentences like that so quickly. I mean, these comedians, they're unbelievable. They go out there without a teleprompter. They go out there without notes, and they talk for an hour and a half, often flawlessly, never kicking a word. They're the smartest people on earth. I mean, you may not love Bill Maher. That guy is brilliant. He absolutely is. So we're getting some text right away. I was lucky enough to see Carlin in Vegas about 30 years ago. He's the GOAT, no argument, Chef Todd.
Great voice.
Yes.
His football, I can see him like narrating like an NFL films with his football voice. I'm surprised they never asked him to do that. Maybe because he made fun of them.
Yeah, probably right. Bill McDermott texting in, what a great Carlin bit. Yeah, I don't know. I never saw him in person. Did you ever see him, Lynn, in person?
Yes, he played at my college homecoming my freshman year.
College?
Yeah, Illinois State.
He came to Illinois State?
Yes.
Holy cow.
That was 1972 fall. Yeah. It was just wonderful. That was after Class Clown, and that was when he got famous about the words you couldn't say on TV. And he had a lot of greatest hits. One of my favorite Carlin lines, and I still quote this, is he was talking about the older movies, how they didn't spell everything out for you in terms of romance, and he goes, Cary Grant and Ava Maria Saint on the train in North by Northwest. They go through a tunnel, and he goes, "You don't have to be Fellini to figure it out." And I use that all the time. You don't have to be Fellini to figure this out, which is good,
Rolling Stone ranked him second on its list of the 50 best stand-up comedians of all time in 2017, behind Richard Pryor and ahead of Lenny Bruce.
Oh.
Yeah, Richard Pryor. Yeah, I didn't see much of Lenny Bruce, but yeah, that's really cool. All right, let's take a short timeout. If you'd like to be a part of the program, the Royal Banks of Missouri text line is open. We got a lot of topics out there, including last meal in St. Louis, where and why. And we got some great text coming our way about homemade pasta in the St. Louis area. There are a couple of restaurants that still do it. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Intense summertime heat and humidity for your weekend plans. A heat wave really starts today. In fact, a heat advisory goes into effect for the majority of our listening areas starting at noon and remains in effect through the weekend into Monday. That could even be extended to Tuesday eventually. But it really starts this afternoon. 96 for the high today under mostly sunny skies. I'll push the heat index to 102. Now, both Saturday and Sunday still looking dry, still looking mostly sunny, and still hot. 98 both days, the heat index near 104. I don't see any signs of this heat breaking until the middle of next week when a cold front rolls in and brings our next chance of storms. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have two locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, two locations, One great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware. We'll see you there.
The 37th Midwest Salute to the Arts invites you to a 3-day outdoor arts festival at Moody Park in Fairview Heights, Illinois, August 22nd through the 24th. Visitors can immerse themselves in a celebration of art, enjoy local food vendors, and a kids' creation station. Also, join us for Uncommon Collaboration, an exploration of contemporary sculpture exhibit, in partnership with Art Village Fairview. For more information, visit MidwestSalute.com. Brought to you in part by the Illinois Office of Tourism and Discover Downstate Illinois. St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri, St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSOL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Do you know why right now is the absolute best time to book your new patio or deck with my friends at Outdoor Living? Aside from being the best in town, these guys are really smart. They pay attention to market conditions, and they've stocked up on patio and deck supplies, including steel, all before these tariffs kicked in. So while their competitors' pricing has gone through the roof, prices have never been better at Outdoor Living. Now is the best time to call and book your summer job. Not to mention, these same competitors have sold out to large conglomerates and hedge funds. Pat Leahy and his team remain locally owned and operated, providing the best pricing and the best service in town. So, looking for a new deck or a new fence or anything outdoor? Outdoor Living, 314-966-DECK. That's 314-966-DECK. Or check them out online, Outdoor Living Inc., or check out their great showroom, Big Bend and I-44 in Kirkwood, OutdoorLivingInc.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MetaShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Kuna Food Service has been the trusted food supplier in the Midwest since 1918. For over 100 years, Kuna has been distributing the highest quality food products to some of your favorite restaurants while delivering superior customer service. When a restaurant puts their trust in Kuna, they get a team that truly cares about their success. Check them out online today at kunafoodservice.com.
All right, we are back. That Rolling Stone list, Richard Pryor 1, George Carlin 2, Lenny Bruce 3, Louis C.K. 4, Chris Rock 5, and then we go some old school, Joan Rivers 6. She was great, though. Jerry Seinfeld 7, Bill Cosby 8.
This is just for their comedy or like all things considered?
Best stand-up comics, just stand-up comics of all time. And this was released in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So Cosby is at number 8.
Would you put Cosby there for not even because of the everyone knows the show, right? Do you watch Cosby stand-ups though?
Yes, yeah. Well,
Okay.
I would go back to just growing up on those albums. They're just unbelievable. Dave Chappelle 9. I think I'd probably put him a little higher. I have not seen Mort Saul. Have you ever heard of him?
I'd have to see him. Mort Saul.
S-A-H-L.
No, but that's another old school one.
Yeah, Steve Martin 11, Robin Williams 12, Bill Hicks 13, Andy Kaufman 14. Still looking for Don Rickles here. 15 is Stephen Wright, Bill Connolly 16, Bill Burr 17, Albert Brooks.
I feel like maybe he's not on the list.
Yeah.
At that point, we're getting pretty deep in.
Man, my God.
Yeah.
All right. We were talking a little bit earlier. Oh, I do want to say we had the Crossing Inn, and we didn't mention the Kuna Connection. They are great Kuna customers, and they credit some of their success to the great things that Kuna has done, and they've been doing it for over 100 years to hundreds of restaurants, maybe thousands of restaurants in the St. Louis area. A couple of texts here. Frank, Denzel is 2 days younger than Ozzie Smith and born on the exact same day as Gayle King. You know, Ozzie's another guy that has aged extremely well, just turned 70 this year.
Does that surprise you to hear that he's like the exact same age as Ozzy? Would you have thought he's older or younger?
Maybe younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say this, is Ozzy looks unbelievable. And by the way, when you turn 70, you get to move up to an upper tee box.
Oh, you get to.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like he played from an upper tee box.
You know, you should still make him play from the back tees, I think.
But it's unfair.
You're
because
too good. You got to play from the back tees.
He's really good.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, you know, now I'm 70. I get to play from up here. That's not right. That is not right at all. All right. Let's see. Frank Papa's, right there on Brentwood Boulevard, the Flash Fried Escarole. Now, Frank no longer owns the place, but I hear they have not lost their fastball, and their escarole is one of the great appetizers in the history of St. Louis. In fact, this was like a top 5 restaurant for me for a long time, but I haven't been since Frank sold it, but I hear it's still very good.
So he sold it, but they kept the name?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Of course, if you have that name recognition and you continue with almost the same product.
Yeah, why not?
Pino's near Clayton, I'm almost positive makes their own pasta. That would not shock me. Well, you don't live there now, but that's kind of in your old neck of the woods.
I've been there once or twice. Yeah, it's good if you've never been.
It is, and they have a really good. I tend to order spaghetti and meatballs too much, but they have a really good spaghetti and meatballs. You know, Bartolino's has a really good spaghetti and meatballs, and so does John Tony's on the Hill. If you get a chance.
Is John Tony still? Was it gonna close? Is that what I heard, or it was gonna stop operating, or are they looking for a buyer? What's the deal there? Tony
had his son in the back, and then his son left, and so Tony wanted to put it up for sale, and he has. They have not found a buyer yet, but I think it's still for sale, and it's still open, and they're still doing great work. They really are. Lorenzo's Osobuco. Yeah, it's a good call there. We're talking about one entree at one restaurant. I would think the John Minio's lamb chop, the Paul Mano's lamb chop, both their pastas, the Sunday gravy at Paul Mano's.
How far down the list for you, Frank, do you have to go before there's not an Italian restaurant? Do we hit all like 8 Italian spots and then we get a steakhouse?
Well, I don't want to name a franchise, but gosh, those franchises, I mean, they really are unbelievable. God, they're really freaking expensive, but they're just, Oh, I will say, what's the one in the Kirkwood area? The great...
is that Chris's?
No, Chris is on Lindbergh by Chaminade. That's really good. Great prime rib there. But, oh, gosh.
I guess that's not Kirkwood.
No. Oh, gosh. What's the one in Kirkwood that's been around for a long time? Nice family operation. Citizen Cane's. Really good. Yeah. Just everything they do is just great. It's a great family. All right. Let's see what else in terms of interesting text we have here. Let's see. Oh, somebody asked if there's an investigation into Brian McKenna's death. Have you heard anything? I have not. And it's been gone. It happened a long time ago. I would think it would have happened by now if there was. But we lost Brian McKenna far too young, one of the great people in St. Louis. Frank, the question you need to ask yourself is, are people not showing up because the Cardinals are having a bad year or because they don't want to go? I'm not sure if... Oh, they don't want to go downtown and possibly have their car broken into or get mugged or shot or a combination of both. I know I won't go to a night game. I don't care how good they are. Well, there's no question that what has gone on downtown, in the last 6 or 7 years has had an effect. But if the team was really good, I think it would have less an effect. If you have an average team and you're also worried or there's some questionable safety measures, then, you probably wouldn't go. But if they're a great team, Connor, I don't know if it's affecting attendance as much.
Well, it hasn't before, right?
No.
I mean, that's the thing. It's not exactly like they've always drawn, and there's been periods of time where there's crime. So it's not always a problem, especially by the stadium. I think normally there's a lot of police presence and people down there. I don't think that's the crime problem area, personally.
The lobster risotto at Trattoria Marsala. Yes, absolutely. One of the best, without a doubt. Frank, have you ever eaten at Fratelli's in St. Charles? Very good Italian food. I have not heard good things. Connor, you been there yet?
I haven't.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
All right, I'll put that on my list. Okay, we'll take one more break. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
A weekend at home or a weekend RVing? Staring at your neighbor's security lights or counting stars? Watching the Travel Channel or sitting around the campfire with friends? Break away. Get out of town in an RV from Byerly in Eureka.
For the rest of your life, you gotta be there. Byerly RV.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Dan Lang. Join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 on the Big 550 for Animal Talk, where I talk about everything regarding dogs, cats, and other domestic animals. Topics include nutrition, training, medical checkups, special guests show up now and then, and of course, I'll answer your questions. So join me every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 for Animal Talk on the Big 550 KTRS, the Animal Talk of St. Louis.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told them I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
Hey, it's Julie Buck for our friends at Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution, and they've been in St. Louis for over 20 years with 2 locations, one at Clayton and Lindbergh, and the other one just west of 270 on Olive. If you've got your own business and you want to have a better banking experience, look no further than Triad Bank. Their mission is to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services to you and your business. For more, go to triadbanking.com.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by bringing you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them anytime online, see their entire inventory of over 12,000 vehicles online today at bommarito.com.
All right, welcome back to the Frank and Jill Show. Jill is off today. I wanted to get to this New York Post story before we get out of here. New York has an average daily screen time of 6 hours and 12 minutes. And the experts warn that our high scrolling habits lead to low productivity, which they claim costs the global economy an estimated $8.8 trillion a year. I don't know how they calculate that, but it seems crazy that the average person in New York spends that much time scrolling a day.
How much time do you think you're in front of a screen, Frank?
So this would factor in laptop and phone.
I think so. You could even count TV, but I don't know if they do.
No, I don't think they do. I wonder, I wonder if we should ask it that's not work related, because if it's not work related, I'm under an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But if you factor in work related, oh my God.
I think you kind of got to factor in work related. I don't know.
But if I'm doing it to find out what Sonny Gray's splits are at home as opposed to the road, does that count as scrolling and being unproductive?
It's a different kind. Maybe it's not unproductive, but it's not. You're still on the screen.
May apply to what I'll be writing at 5 and 6 o'clock. I don't know. What do you think you're at?
Yeah, I'm probably more than an hour of personal time, but then obviously if you count like me sitting here on the screen here, I'm racking up the hours.
Yes,
so,
and that's work related.
Yeah.
The average American. This is the average American, according to New York Post, spends 6 hours and 35 minutes a day on screens, adding up to 2,400 annually. So that's pretty.
Do you
serious.
try to cut back? Have you made a conscious effort to try to cut back, or do you just kind of?
Well, the only thing I do social media wise is I'll tweet some things out once in a while, and then every once in a while I'll look at Facebook. But I don't do too much.
That's it.
How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I
do more than that on Twitter. I should say. I read Twitter.
A lot of people my age kind of make a conscious choice to try to cut back, and I don't know. I think maybe we'll see a trend where there's less, but I don't know.
Are you doing that?
I don't think I need to. I don't try to make a conscious effort because I don't feel like I'm on it all that much. But I know people that do try to make that effort, and in my opinion, they probably need to.
Yeah. Oh, there's no question. All right. And what do you got in store this weekend?
What do I have in store this weekend? Now I'm going to go see this Denzel movie.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go try to see where it's showing and try to go see that. Other than that, I didn't have anything planned, but we'll see.
I'm going to try to hit one great restaurant on Saturday. We're negotiating reservations right now. Monique and I, we're going to.
It's your negotiations.
Yes.
How does that work? Is it who's normally has the upper hand in negotiations?
It's
you or
her.
Monique?
Yeah, I do what she says. So we may end up at Twisted Tree, which would be kind of cool. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the program. Mr. Carney and Miss Buck coming up next. We'll take a break. We'll be back Monday at 10 o'clock.